I think it has been enough time. We've had a little bit of space from the sad ending to the Browns this year, not making it to the playoffs. I think we're ready to talk Browns again. And I think we're ready to talk some Browns draft. NFL Combine is this weekend. Pretty exciting to check in to see those 40 times, the bench press, and what the Browns are going to do in a draft that's going to be interesting. The 13th pick in the draft this year. Eric, let's go to you first here. Andrew Berry saying that this is he's going to treat it like we're an expansion team. But what do you think the Browns are going to do with this draft?
Well, I liked him doing his GM speak of leaving all the options open and not really tipping his hand. The only thing you could argue is him kind of bidding farewell to Jarvis Landry, saying he had done a lot of good things for us. He has got us out of the doldrums. He had, had four great seasons with the Browns. So that would be the only thing. That being said, I think they're going to look for a receiver, whether that's at number 13 or in the second round. I would expect one of those two rounds to be drafted a receiver. You look at the depth chart outside of Landry, he's got that $16.3 million price tag on his season in 2021. They decided to move on. They got Anthony Schwartz, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Demetric Felton. You got one so receiver that had a couple of big plays his rookie year. One also had a couple of decent plays his rookie year, but was hurt most of the time. And then one who's not a full-time receiver. That position needs to be fortified immensely. Look at some options. I don't need to go into depth, but Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson are roughly that same price tag as Jarvis Landry, but are they willing to come here? Does it make sense? There's a lot of options there, a lot of possibilities. Not sure if that's actually going to happen. They could go a cheaper option route. Andy Isabella has been floated around with the trade rumors. He's from Mayfield, Ohio. We'll see. He obviously it's a very crowded receiver room in Arizona. And so I hope they can fortify the position definitely with the free agent / trade market, regardless of what they do with Jarvis Landry. But most importantly, they got to draft a guy rounds 1 and 2. You got the two Ohio State receivers. You got Treylon Burks. You got the guy from USC. It really depends on where you want to go. I'll let Drew go more in depth because it looks like he wants to talk about them. So, the sky's the limit, I think. It seemed like 2 years ago, heading into the season, they had quote unquote one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL. And now it looks like they have one of the worst. So they're going to have to replenish that position heavily. I'll get in more in depth about who I like later when it gets closer to the draft. But that's really key right now. I hope the medicals, I hope the interviews are really, really imperative and they really have a lot of takeaways as far as the Browns perspective, because there's rumor that Wilson's not going to be doing a lot of the actual drills and we'll just be doing that medical and interviews. So try to get a good feel for all those receivers. And we don't have a Justin Blackmon situation. Not saying we will, but we want to avoid things like that. So a lot going on, but that's my key spot for the Browns right now.
I did not see a Justin Blackmon reference coming here. Was not expecting that.
Drew, do the Browns trade for Aaron Rodgers and then get a quarterback in the first round? Your thoughts?
Wow. Can I just answer the second part of that question, right? Like, no, they probably don't trade for Aaron Rodgers, but let's talk NFL draft, okay, shall we? So there's 5, I think, really, really good talents available in the first round. Eric pretty much mentioned all of them, but I'll go into a little more detail there. In no particular order exactly, Drake London from USC, he's certainly thought of as certainly one of the top 3, regardless of sort of how you slice these up. He's 6'5" and 210 pounds. I'm really interested. We have the combine here starting up tomorrow. We get to see some of the workouts. I'm really interested to see how well he runs. He led the college football in contested catches. which isn't a metric I particularly love. It means you're not getting separation, but that also could be due to lots of other things like poor quarterback play, poor offensive line play, or scheme. And they had all three of those in spades at USC, which led to all of the changes that you saw at the USC program. So I'm really interested to see how well he runs, to see, I haven't deep dove into all of this yet, but to see if he's able to generate and beat people with speed, or if it's more size and strength, which he has shown certainly the ability to do. So that's the person I'm looking forward to seeing the most at the combine. If he can get a really fast 40 time, he's probably your wide receiver one in this draft. We all know Garrett Wilson. He's a Buckeye. He's somebody that everybody listening to this podcast is more than familiar with. He, from what I can tell, is the best at generating separation, which I believe, outside of catching the ball, is the most important trait from going from college into the pros. If you're able to generate separation, that you can become an elite receiver in the NFL now. So he would be an excellent choice at number 13. The other guy I really like is Treylon Burks from Arkansas. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. His wingspan is that of a guy who's closer to 6'6". Just really big target, who can also run really fast. Didn't have the type of production that Drake London and Garrett Wilson had, however, but you can also attribute some of that to playing at Arkansas. So those are the three that I'm really high on. I think I don't think all of them will be available, but certainly one of them will be, which I think any one of those three would be an excellent pick. The other two names at the top are Jamison, former Buckeyes, Jamison Williams went to Alabama, and Chris Olave. Those are probably closer to mid to late first round picks from what I can see. But they're certainly going to be, really highly sought after players. They probably won't make it out of that first round, even with the injury to Jamison Williams. Once you get past those first five, you end up with a bunch of question marks, but still some really good talent potentially in the second round. Two of the players that I really like, David Bell from Purdue, Sky Moore from Western Michigan. And I also am intrigued by the size, speed, sort of strength combination of George Pickens, despite not producing a whole heck of a lot at Georgia, did try to come back from an ACL injury. He's an intriguing name. So lots of options available in the second round and even into the third round in this draft. It is a fairly deep wide receiver class, but if you need an elite level talent, which the Browns certainly do, they would have to strike at number 13 overall to get that sort of a game-changing talent. And that's where I think they will probably lean come April.
We will save our 7th round analysis for next week, but
I'm ready.
Strategy-wise, I think it's going to be a big surprise if it's not a wide receiver. I would keep Jarvis on the team. Would love to keep him in the mix, but add, 1-2 wide receivers. It's very clearly go with a wide receiver at the top of this draft. I would also look at offensive linemen. We had depth issues, and I think that's a big part of why the Browns' offense fell apart. We did not have that offensive line. And keeping the offensive line healthy in this next year is going to be really important. So wouldn't hate to see offensive line, but I think we're definitely going to see a wide receiver at the top.